there guys, it's Justin here again, and in today's video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to fully optimize your settings panel. It's this over here. Once you go to the cog, it's all these settings over here. So the purposes of optimizing these settings is, as you know, Windows is notorious for collecting your data and then selling your data. So you want to minimize the amount of data that Windows can collect about you. So yeah, I'm going to get to all those steps. First and foremost, we just need to clarify full disclaimer. This is not going to all of a sudden give you 600 more FPS. So if you've got shitty hardware, it's just going to make it slightly better. And then if you've got good hardware, it's just really going to optimize your system for your hardware. Right, so today's going to be my last performance optimization video. The next video that I'm going to do, all the videos that have been targeting performance optimizations, I'm going to put them all together in one, and I'm going to show you how it all ties in. So it's going to be a full optimization of Windows from start to finish. So it's going to be your GPU performance tweaks, it's going to be your CPU performance tweaks, and then it's also going to be your settings performance tweaks. But anyways guys, enough talking, let's get to it. Right guys, that brings us to our first setting or first step. So go ahead and click on the clog in your start menu, go to your settings, and we're not going to start with the system, we're going to start with update and security and work our way back. So first and foremost, just go ahead and click into update and security, and then under Windows updates, just go check for latest updates. I have already, and if you do have any updates that you need to run, just go and download those updates. Once the updates are finished and you've restarted your computer and your computer is completely up to date, go ahead and press pause updates for 7 days and keep on pressing this until this option gets grayed out. The reason we want to do this is, let's say you're playing a game and then all of a sudden there's an update that Windows wants to push out in the background. So it's gonna start updating in the background, and also it's going to kill your performance, so we don't want that. So that's why we're going to go ahead and pause updates for 7 days, keep on pressing it until it's grayed out. Delivery optimization, just switch this off. Windows security, so guys, as you'll see, I have Windows Defender completely disabled, but what I'll do is I'll link a video at the end how to go about and disable Windows security if you want. If not, just leave Windows security as is. Backup, just leave as is. Troubleshoot, just leave as is. Recovery, just leave as is. Activation, leave as is. Find my device, leave as is. For developers, leave as is. Windows Insider program, leave as is. Alright guys, the next is going to bring us to our next section, which is privacy. So this is the section where Windows finds home. So unless you switch all these things off, Windows collects your data, sends it through to Microsoft servers, and you've got a lot of processes running in the background if you don't deactivate these. So there are two sections that I suggest leaving on. It's camera and microphone. And the reason for that is when you're gaming, you typically use screenshots, screen recording, and you use your microphone. So you don't want to disable any of the features there, but everything else you want to go ahead and switch off. So in general, switch everything off. Speech off, inking off, diagnostic feedback off, activity history, just go ahead and clear this. Location off. The camera, as said, just leave this on. Microphone, just leave this on. Voice activation off, 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 off. You don't need this. Notifications off, off, off. Account info off. Contacts off. Calendar off. I mean, why do you want Windows reporting on all these things? You don't need it. They're selling your data and it's killing your performance. So just go and switch it off. Phone calls off. Call history off. Emails off. Task off. Everything off. Messaging, switch everything off. Radio, switch everything off. Other devices off. Background apps, go ahead and disable background apps from running in the background, because obviously this chews a lot of performance here. So switching this off, you're going to have a lot less processors running in the background, a lot less apps running in the background. You're going to have more available RAM and more CPU cycles dedicated to the thing that we're watching this video for, gaming performance. Merry Christmas. Right, app diagnostics off, everything off. Automatic file downloads, no, leave it. Documents off. Pictures off. Videos off, everything off. And then file system switch off. Right, so I did another video called how to optimize Windows with WPD, which is Windows Privacy Dashboard. I'm going to link a video to that video at the end of this video. It's a fantastic little program that really helps you to optimize this section, but then also delete some stubborn Windows apps that you can't necessarily always go ahead and delete. So please stick around until the end of the video. There's a link to that video at the end. Right guys, so that's going to bring us to our next section. Go to search, just click on that. Search permissions and history. It normally sits on moderate, just put it on off. You don't want Windows blocking you and defining what you can and can't search. It just slows things down. Microsoft account switch off, work or school account switch off. Searching Windows. So as you see, indexing is not running. I disable Windows search. It really just slows down your system. It makes almost no difference. As you can see, I type in blah 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 blah, and my search still works. It's just not being indexed. So how you go about that is click on your Windows Explorer, right click on your local drive, go to properties. So now what you want to do is allow files on this drive to have contents indexed in addition to file properties. So it's just a double layer of indexing, which uses up RAM, it uses up CPU, it just slows down your system. So what I want you to do is untick this over here and then hit apply. And then apply changes to drive, to C drive, subfolders and files, press OK. Ignore all. And then it's going to run through. And guys, this is going to take 10-15 minutes or so. So just allow this process to finish. Right guys, I'm back. Just be prepared. What I just showed you now is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. I've got a relatively fast NVMe drive in my laptop. It's about 2,500 megabits per second, and it took me 15 minutes. So yeah guys, just be prepared. It might take a bit of a while, but once that's done, just close that off and then go back into settings. We're done with the search, ease of access. So under display, you can pretty much just leave everything as is. I like to leave transparency in on Windows, even though technically a lot of people suggest switching it off because it impacts your performance. To me, it just looks nice. So yeah, if you want to switch off transparency in Windows, go ahead. Mouse pointer, just leave as is. Go to additional mouse settings, and then additional mouse options, and in pointer options, just go, and this is normally ticked. It's normally like this. So just go and untick enhance pointer precision and click apply. Okay. Right, touchpad. I don't use my touchpad because obviously I'm a gamer. But so what I do is I untick leave touchpad on when mouse is connected. So I just leave all these settings as is. Typing, I go and switch everything off. Everything off. Because that just slows things down. Pen in Windows Ink, leave as is. Autoplay, I go ahead and switch this off. USB, off. And then text cursor, leave everything as is. Magnifier, just untick all these boxes except for smooth edges of images and text. That's just going to make things look nice on your system. Color filters, leave as is. High contrast, leave as is. Narrator, just go ahead. Unless you are blind, sorry, I don't want that to sound insensitive, but unless you are blind, you don't need the narrator. So just go ahead and untick all these options over here. In audio, pretty much just leave everything as is. Closed captions, leave as is. Speech, turn speech recognition off. Keyboard, use your device without a physical keyboard, off. Use sticky keys, off. Use toggle keys, off. Use filter keys, off. Change how keyboard shortcuts work, off. Print screen shortcut, off. Right, in mouse, we've already adjusted our mouse settings. Eye control, pretty much leave as is. That brings us to gaming. It's one of my favorite parts of this section. So Xbox Game Bar, unless you're using Xbox Live Games and you're using Xbox Game Bar to record your games, which I don't recommend, switch this off. Captures, and make sure everything's switched off. Game mode, people used to recommend switching this off, but in the latest version of Windows 10, which is 21H2 and 21H1 for that matter, they've greatly improved game mode. So make sure that's on, and then click into graphics settings. If you don't have hardware accelerated GPU scheduling switched on, go ahead and switch it on. Once you switch that on, your computer is going to give you a prompt to restart. Just go ahead and restart, and then make your way back to settings, gaming, game mode, graphic settings, and then what I want you to do is go browse, and then go to your folder with all your games. So then go and select each individual game. And so you go browse, you select your game, and then it will appear over here. And then what you do, you click on that, it will give you options, and then normally it's set to let Windows decide. But go through all the games that you put over here and put it on high performance. Click save. Right, you're done with this section. Xbox networking, don't really have to do anything with that. Time and language, just go ahead and make sure that your time set right. Region, same story. Language, speech, that's all up to you. Right guys, that brings us to our next section, accounts. So I'm not going to touch this. This is obviously your own personal settings, so run it as you will. Apps, important section over here. So all the apps over here, go through this list. If you can identify something that you don't use, it's using up space on your hard drive, so go ahead and delete it. And also it's causing services to run in the background, so it's charring at your RAM and also your CPU cycles. So go through this list. If there are any programs that you don't use anymore, or that you have never used, go ahead and delete it. It's eating your hardware space, or hard drive space, or space on your hard drive, and it's also consuming RAM and CPU cycles. So the process, how you would go about that, if you see something you don't want anymore, click on it, press uninstall, and then it will uninstall it from your system. Default apps, I like to set up all my default apps that I like to use. Video player, as you can see, I use VLC Media Player. What this basically ensures is every time you open up a photo, it's going to use the program that you specified it to use. Every time you open up a song, it's going to use a program you specified it to use. So I don't use Microsoft Edge. In fact, I completely deleted Microsoft Edge off my system. I like using Opera GX. So every time I open up the internet, it's going to open up via Opera GX. Offline maps, just delete anything that's there. Apps for websites, leave it as is. Video playback, go over here, battery options, and then by default it's set to optimize for battery life. I like to have my videos running at full quality, so just select that. And then startup. So anything that's starting up with your system, it's causing your boot time. When you click on the on switch on your laptop, it's causing Windows to load slow. So anything that's over here, just put it on off. Your system's going to start up a lot quicker. Right, personalization. Look, I mean, this really is up to you. I mean, as the title suggests, it's personalization. So do whatever tickles your fancy because it's personal to you. Right, network and internet. Look, we're not networking gurus, so leave this section now alone. Phone. I don't have any phone connected to my laptop, so I'll leave that. Devices. Bluetooth and other devices, I switched off because I don't use Bluetooth. Printers and scanners, I don't use a printer, so I switch this off and off. Mouse, leave, I've already set the mouse settings. Same with touchpad, just leave as is, we've already addressed it in the previous section. Typing, already addressed it. Pen and Windows Ink, already addressed it. Autoplay, leave as is. USB, leave as is. Right, and that brings us to system. We're almost done, guys. So just go ahead, and if you've got a 120 Hz screen or 144 Hz screen, and you haven't set the refresh rate just as of yet, what you want to do is you want to go to advanced display settings, and then under refresh rate, go and select the refresh rate that you want. So quite often you might have a 144 Hz screen or 120 Hz screen, but your refresh rate is always by default set to 60 Hz. So yeah, you can dictate which refresh rate you want to use. Sound, we've already addressed sound in the previous section. Notifications and actions, even if you switch this off, it just switches back on, so leave that. Leave focus assist, power and sleep, leave battery, leave storage, leave tablet. So just select never use this tablet mode if you don't have a tablet. And then when I use this device as a tablet, don't switch to tablet mode, just select that. Multitasking, just make sure everything here is switched off. Projecting to this PC, just make sure everything's switched off. Shared experiences, make sure everything is switched off. Clipboard, make sure everything is deselected. And then clear clipboard data, just click over here. Remote desktop, nothing to do here. And about, well, that just tells you about your computer. Right, so that's brought us to the end of the settings panel. I am going to run through one or two other settings that's just going to help optimize your system a little bit better as well. Right, guys, and that brings us to our last optimization. For those of you still watching, thanks for watching this far. We're almost done. So what I want you to do is go to your start menu and then type in view advanced system settings, click on that, and then under performance go to settings, and then what you want to do is go adjust for best performance, click apply, but then it's going to make things look a little bit uglier. So we want the best performance, but we want things to look a little bit nicer than ugly at least. So go on use drop shadows for icon labels on desktop. Smooth edges of screen fronts, show translucent selection triangle, and then show thumbnails instead of icons. Click apply. So now it's set to best performance, but at least it doesn't look horrible. And then under advanced, what you want to do is your virtual memory. Just go ahead and change. By default, it's set to automatically manage paging file size. But what we want to do is we want to click on custom size. If you've got 8 gigs of RAM in your system, I suggest setting this to initial and maximum to 8192. That means you've got 8 gigs of physical RAM and then 8 gigs of virtual memory, just in case you have memory leaks. On 16 gigs of RAM, like I have, I just set it to 5120 and then maximum size 5120. So if I have any memory leaks, at least my paging file can save my computer from crashing. Anyways, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please leave me a like. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comment section. And as always, I'm looking to grow my channel. So if you enjoy this type of content, please go ahead and subscribe. The next video that I'm going to do is I've done a whole bunch of performance optimizations. Today was the last performance optimization. So the next video I'm going to do is going to be all the performance optimizations I've done up until this stage, put together. So it's going to be a full optimization of Windows for gaming. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. It's people like you that make a difference. Cheers.